In this video, we're going to learn about intensifiers. Intensifiers, as the name suggests, intensifies an adverb or an adjective. Let's look at an example to understand this better.
Now, in this sentence, I ran down the old stairs quickly. I ran down the old stairs quickly. I said the role of an intensifier is to either modify or intensify an adjective or an adverb. Now, can you identify the adjective and the adverb in this sentence? I, subject, ran, verb, down the old stairs, which is the noun here, stairs again, right? What sort of stairs? Describing the stairs, describing word old is my adjective, okay? And then, of course, it's easy to identify my adverb, ends with ly. Quickly is my adverb, right? Now, where do I fit this intensifier here, where I'm saying intensifiers modify or intensify an adjective or an adverb? Let's look at that quickly. So let's say if I say, I ran down the rather old stairs quickly. So in this context, rather, my intensifier is intensifying the adjective old. So giving the meaning, saying, you know, those stairs were really old and I shouldn't be running down those stairs if you ask me, right? But if I make a slight, if I modify it slightly and I just go ahead and put rather before quickly, right? Now let's look at what the new meaning for the sentence is. I ran down the old stairs rather quickly. Now here, the intensifier rather is modifying the adverb quickly. So, you know, maybe I should have slowed down a little bit and not ran so quickly, right? So the meaning is focused here on the adverb in this context. So basically, you have an idea what the role of an intensifier is and what it does. Okay, I'm much pleased by the results. Again, in that context, I am much pleased. Pleased is an adjective. Much is my intensifier, modifying the adjective pleased. Now, let's see what are these some other intensifiers and how can we identify a sentence that has an error pertaining to intensifiers. First example, I have read too many books by R.K. Narayanan. Okay, so the word highlighted there is too, and is that right? Is that correct in that context, or should I change it to something else? Now, too as an intensifier has different meanings. It's an adverb, right? Too is an adverb. One of the meanings that too gives is more than you need, excessive. So it is too hot in Saudi Arabia, right? Excessive. The heat is just unbearable. That's one meaning. Too can also be positive, right? No, you can say you are too kind, or your generosity is too much, right? That can also be one meaning. Too can also give you a meaning of, in addition, additionally as well. So I can say, my friend Rita likes carrot halwa and I like it too. In addition to Rita liking it, I also like it, right? That's another meaning that too gives as an adverb. Now, one thing that you need to note is don't use too with negative words, right? Your socks are too smelly. No. Your teeth are too ugly. No. Right? Ugly, smelly, negative words, don't use too because it is an intensifier, right? And it is usually used, it brings in a negative meaning as it is. So you don't have to add that with a negative word. That's why I said avoid, or you should not use to with negative words. But so we've understood the meaning of to, right? But in this context, what meaning do I need? I have read dash many books by R.K. Narayan. What other intensifier can be more appropriate here in this context? Think. What can I replace, or should I replace to with some other intensifier? Are you familiar with other intensifiers? So is one other intensifier. Very is one other intensifier. Much is one other intensifier. Right? I have read many books. Definitely not. I have read so many books by R.K. Narayanan. Right? So, as an intensifier, on the other hand, gives a positive meaning, used with, quickly, right? Now, one of the meanings that so gives or brings is extent, right? She moved so quietly, nobody noticed. The extent, you know, to which she moved. That's one meaning. Another meaning of so can be extremely. That's another meaning. The soup is so good, I asked for a second bowl. Right? That's one meaning of so. The other meaning is so can also act as a conjunction, bringing in the meaning of thus or therefore. I got really sick, so I had to go and visit a doctor. It brings in the meaning of thus or therefore, it acts like a conjunction. So can also bring in the meaning of I believe or I think it's true. Right? Do you think he brought his book? I think so. Do you think it will rain? I think so. Right? So these are some of the meanings that so as an intensifier brings. And here in this context, definitely I'm looking at a positive meaning. So I'm going to replace to with so. I have read so many books by R.K. Narayan. And why do we need a positive meaning and why can't we need a negative meaning here? Because you're expressing R.K. Narayanan, the author, right? That you're in favor of him. You've read all of his books, right? Many of his books, rather. That's what it says, right? And because it's a statement, standalone statement. We need a positive meaning here. I have read so many books by R.K. Narayan. Let's look at our second example. Example to the so serious challenge to companies face is to retain its younger staff. Okay, so the highlighted phrase is so serious challenge to. And then I have 4 options. Option A, more serious of challenge to. Option B, very serious challenge for. Option C, most serious challenge. Option D, quite serious challenge against. Okay. So what do we need here? I have a clue word, which is my definite article. The more, the very, the most, or the quite. Right? That's one way to look at it. Another way is just to substitute all of these phrases and see if it makes logical sense. Right? The more serious of challenge to companies face is, it's all over the place. The very serious challenge for companies face is to, again, incorrect preposition here. In this context, it's not a good fit. The most serious challenge companies face is to retain its younger staff. Seems like the right fit here. D, the quite serious challenge against companies face is to, again, against, inappropriate in this context, right? So our answer is option C. Let's go ahead and make that change. The most serious challenge companies face is to retain its younger staff. Alright, great. So let's move to our third example. The offer is very good, so it just can't be true. What's the highlighted phrase? Is very good, so it just can't. What are my options? Option A, so good to. Option B, rather good to. Option C, too good to. And then no improvement. Okay, so the offer is very good, so it just can't be true. Now remember, when we looked at a difference between so and to, I gave you the meanings of these two intensifiers, right? Now what meaning do I need, or what meaning have I heard people convey in this context? This particular offer is too good to be true, right? So you've heard people say this in a context. It's actually a collocation, if you ask me, right? Set expressions used specifically, repeatedly in contexts, right? So the answer is option C. The offer is rather good to be true. Incorrect. The offer is so good to be true. Usually to would be the right fit in terms of the collocation that we're talking about. So let's make that change. So the answer is option C. The offer is too good to be true.
So having gone through these example sentences, I'm positive that you are able to identify which intensifier is needed in the context, because intensifiers again have different meanings in various contexts, right? One, you need to have a good knowledge on intensifiers and their meanings, which is a good start, and then you can apply that knowledge in identifying the right intensifier for the meaning that the context is conveying. So that's all we have for intensifiers, and let's move to our next component in finding errors.